Good evening, fuckers, and welcome to the next Train Simulator Classic request video. And this one, this is another request from MikkDC, and it starts off pretty good because the route he's chosen is West Coast Main Line, Trent Valley. I'm amazed this route has not appeared up until now. This is a great route, this. But yeah, for whatever reason, no one has requested it until now. And we are doing more or less the entire length of it. So we're starting at Rugby and we are going right the way to Stafford. We do have a few stops along the way. The trouble is neither of us know the order that these stops come in. Usually when I drive this route in the game, in the career mode, I normally only have to make a stop at Nuneaton. So I've got a rough idea where that is. And that is one of the stops that he wants us to make, but there's also Rugely, Lichfield and Tamworth. So yeah, we'll see how they go. Obviously, you know, once they appear on the route, then yeah, we will be ready to stop there. So it's all sounds pretty good. And then we get to his choice of train, because he's chosen the Class 175. Yeah, cheers for that. Electrified line. There's a whole load of like great electric multiple units, or electric locos even, or even diesel locos, because there's a lot of freight that goes on this line. No, he lumbers me with a 175. Yeah. Okay, well, as far as these specifics, it's autumn, it's raining, and it's 10:30 AM. I was going to do it stormy, but the Class 75's anti-wheel slip technology is practically non-existent, and if it's stormy, you are wheel slipping just about the whole fucking way of your journey. So, anyway, let's get this underway. Yes, this announcement will be taking place in about 3 hours from now. Right, here we are. So we are at Rugby Platform 2. The lights set for daylight running. Doesn't look exactly particularly bright out though. Mind you, it doesn't look like too bright here either, so it's, yeah, ideal weather I suppose. It very much mirrors what it's like here in Southend at the moment. Okay, so this thing does have a speed set, but it's the kind that I'm not a big fan of. It's like the cruise control, so I'm not really going to be using that at all. Anyway, the train is all set. Let's get underway. See, if it was stormy, putting it straight into notch 2, and especially now putting it in notch 3, yeah, I would now be, I'd now have nothing but wheel slip alerts. So I mean, we are starting straight away on a 75 mph section, which is not bad. Trouble is, it doesn't last very long, because firstly we've got this yellow, and secondly we've got 40 mph speed limit coming up. So we'll take it easy while we are waiting for the line to clear. That green is for the line next to us. A whole sea of red signals up ahead. Now I'm hoping that green there is for us, and if we are changing lines, which might, yes we are, so that's why the 40 mph bit was there, and we're now into the line where the green signal is. There you go. So as soon as there you go, the entire train has passed the points, we're now on 125 mph. We are certainly not going to be doing 125 mph in this thing. So what do I have against the Class 175? Well, to be fair, in the game it drives semi-okay actually. The brakes on it are dismal, and yeah, anti-wheel slip sort of technology just doesn't exist on this thing. But this is one of 5 classes that I think really do epitomise the whole mentality of the privatised rail companies. It wasn't long after privatisation, so we're talking late 90s here, and all of the companies wanted to replace all of their sort of like ageing stock. You know, they still had plenty of like slam door multiple units that were, you know, that were around since like the mid 60s. So yeah, all of the rail companies put out you know, offering contracts to replace them all. And of course, as is, you know, it has always been the case with privatised railway companies, when the offers came in, they looked at one thing and one thing only. They looked at the cost, and they went with the cheapest one every single time. Didn't care one iota about things like build quality, reliability, you know, passenger comfort, drivability. None of that got a look in. All they looked at was how much was it going to be. So every single one of them went with the cheapest option. Big shock. So these new trains that all arrived, every single one of them without exception was late, at least 1 year late, and every single one of them that arrived in such dismal condition that they needed to be kept off the network while they were undergoing major sort of like refits, repairs. This was before they had done even a minute's actual service. They underwent testing. I think just about all of them failed the testings. It was absolutely fucking dismal. And the 175 was one of them. Amazingly, it wasn't the worst, but it was dreadful. The brakes kept failing. It had ridiculous sort of software issues that meant that the fault finder would find faults where there weren't any and force the train to shut down for no reason whatsoever. So these things were doing nothing but breaking down everywhere. This must surely be a 66, light 66 at that. The weird thing is, of those 5 locos that were utterly hopeless, 3 of them are in Train Simulator Classic. The 175, the 180 and the 460. None of them are still in service. I mean, the 460 was replaced completely replaced on the Gatwick Express after just 7 years. And the 180, there's only one rail franchise that still uses them. All the rest, I mean, admittedly there weren't that many that got them in the first place, but all the rest got rid of theirs. And the one that's using it, which is that infamous Grand Central, even they are considering dropping them if they haven't already done so. Anyway, enough of this slagging off trains and that. Back to the route we're on, the Trent Valley. This is quite a feature-rich route. It has, well, you can clearly see it's electrified the whole way. It has working neutral sections, or at least it does if you are in a train that is making use of the overhead power. Because we're in a DMU, well, we're actually in the DEMU, but either way, we're not making use of, or we're not having to use the neutral sections. And there are quite a few freight yards on here, so there's a lot of freight traffic that uses the Trent Valley route. So yeah, I mean it's good for any kind of train, apart from those using third rail. It's good for passenger and freight runs. It's got a bit of everything. Unfortunately, we can't see it particularly well because yeah, the view from the 175 cabin is not brilliant. Stafford station is about 41 miles, but of course we've got 4 stops along the way. And that, of course, is, you know, bearing in mind it might send us through avoiding lines, because I think for a lot of the time this route has 3 or 4 lines. So some of these stations we may not get the chance to stop at. Some of these stations we may not even see, but so I mean we're cruising along at a steady 95. I'll be honest, I didn't know this thing could do 95. I think it's rated to only, or its max speed rated at 90. So we are going quite some way over the speed that it should be doing, which is fine. So it looks very much like we are approaching Nuneaton station. So brakes on this thing are not great, but I think I was about to start braking a bit too early there. So yeah, there is Nuneaton station, 1.5 miles away, and we've got a yellow. Well, it's double yellow. Okay, that's fine. We can still make it to Nuneaton station. Absolutely, you know, no problem. It may even change us. That could be what that 40 is, changes and putting us on another line, so that then we won't have the yellows. Actually, no, it should have been blinking if it was going to do that, so maybe not. Well, that repeater signal seems to suggest that we are going to be changing. Well, we'll soon find out. So there goes the 350. The 350s on this route, they have all sort of like passenger announcements and all that. And I get to drive a 175. There we are. So yeah, we are going over the points, but hopefully that means no more yellow signals. Brakes on this thing are really not that good at all. Okay, so here we are, our stop at Nuneaton. Seemed to be there a lot longer than I was expecting. Anyway, we can get underway. Well, we can now that the guard signal has been sent. So clearly we can't go flat out, we're on a 75 MP8 section. But yeah, I don't know now when or where the next stations are. I didn't think Nuneaton was going to be the first one though. I thought Rugely was, but yeah, so much for that. the cruise coast through it. So we've hit the limit, or track limit anyway. Well, let's get ourselves back to around 75. We dropped a bit, but it looks like we take the speed down to, well, the throttle down to notch 1. That could be enough to maintain our speed as is. But we do have another speed decrease coming up, so it's 60 as we approach Atherstone station. That is not down as one of the stops that MikkDC wants, so we'll be going through there, well, not at full tilt, but we certainly won't be stopping there anyway. I'm braking to, you know, bring our speed down for it when it was still a mile away. Over a mile away. And yeah, so we can now just cruise there, coast there. So here is Atherstone station. So yeah, it's a real sort of like no frills job. Yeah, kind of station we've seen plenty of times already. Anyway, we've dropped quite a bit of speed, so we can go full throttle, especially as we are then entering another 75 mph zone. There we are. So yeah, we can get some proper speed up now. Still, yeah, so we were still gaining speed even at notch 1. I mean, there's not a lot to be impressed about with this train, but yeah, that acceleration was not bad. It's not doing it now though, but yeah, I'll live with that. What it's doing now, maintaining our speed at 74.5, that's what I wanted it to do. Alright, the speed is still dropping, but very, very slow rate, so that's quite okay. So Polesworth station next. Again, it's not on the list, so we will not be stopping there. I mean, I could say let's give it some max thrash, but max thrash in a class 175 is not impressive. So yeah, we won't even bother. Get some exteriors of this, but I'm pretty sure this is another of those very generic type stations. Yep. I mean, 4-line, but didn't put us through the avoiding line, so there we go. Right, let's just notch up a little, get us back up to around 75 mph. We've not lost a lot of speed, but this 110 mph zone that's coming up will certainly be handy. That means we can go at full speed. We have Tamworth station coming up though, and pretty much as soon as we enter the 110 mph zone, and that is one of our stops. So more or less as soon as we leave Tamworth we will enter a 125 mph zone, so yeah, this is a good fast area. Trouble is we've got 2 more stops somewhere along that section still to come. Now I did start braking really early, but the brakes on this thing are not worth a squirt of piss, so yeah, you kind of need to brake rather early in one of these. So we're in the 110 mph zone now, and we're doing 41. See, I'm having to put on 93% brakes to really have any kind of like braking capacity of any kind. So here we are anyway, this is Tamworth. This is effectively part of Birmingham really, isn't it, Tamworth? We're going to get the guard signal. Yeah. So we can basically now just put it straight into full throttle, which we have done, and let it go right the way up to its max speed of this thing. What we've already seen is 95. And we've really got to wait for the next station. So we've only got 2 stations left. Well, 3 actually, but I mean 2 stops on the way to Stafford. So we still have Rugely and Lichfield. My fucking knee is really still giving me a load of grief. I mean, it's been how many days since I had that bloody accident? I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday when it was Friday, yeah, the night of the live stream. It was 4 days ago. Well, let's get a look at Tame Viaduct. Was that it? Yeah, they're not joking when they call it a Tame Viaduct. Oh, I should have pointed out actually when I selected this train that yeah, okay, we are running on the Trent Valley line, but the livery is for one of the Welsh lines. But all the liveries that I have for the Class 175 are Welsh liveries, so yeah, it does, well, I'll say it kind of makes it really stick out. But I mean, a 175 on this route is going to stick out no matter what livery it's in. So Lichfield is coming up next. That is our next stop. I thought this was all like Bromsgrove, isn't it? Lichfield and Bromsgrove. And I don't know Birmingham hugely well, but I thought that Lichfield and Bromsgrove were together and they were in southern Birmingham. It probably shows more about how little I know of the area than anything else. And considering that Stafford is only 18 miles away, we can't seriously be still in southern Birmingham. Or in or around southern Birmingham anyway. Right, so here we are then at Lichfield Station. Maybe someone out there might know what that, where that branch is taking us. There we go, right. So we only have Rugely and Stafford itself left to go. Not a huge amount of sea around here, but So we have Trent Viaduct coming up in 1.5 miles. Well, let's hope it's a bit more impressive than the last viaduct that we went over. Now that is quite the long freight train there. Single class 66 pulling that lot. See how this looks. Yeah, that it didn't help that once again my fucking right mouse button is really on its last legs. I wasn't able to turn in time, but it didn't look very impressive at all. So I can't place that power station that's in the distance, but nevertheless Rugely is the next station. It's quite a small station, this one. This is our last stop on the route, so it'll be roughly 9.5 miles to Stafford, but there will be no additional stops along the way. Given how small this station is, I think I'm going to have to really sort of apply hefty amounts of braking and get it done rather quickly. Yeah, see, the front here we missed it. That's with the brakes on 99%. So yeah, here we are at Rugely, but yeah, the first car's completely missed the station. I'm only in a 3-car train, but yeah, the class 175s you only get the well, maximum 3-car. So I mean the third one has actually managed to make it. Okay, the power station, we must have been pretty close to it because we've gone right past it now. Right. So, 9.33 miles to Stafford. And we have no more stops on the way. Well, this 90 mph speed reduction that's coming up in just over a mile and a half means we are not going to be able to take this thing up to max speed, but we're not exactly going to be far off it. As it is, that section is quite short, and then we will be able to go back up to 100, or in our case 95, so that's not too bad. So we're going to be perfectly fine as we enter the 90 mph section. There it is. No, it's not. Yeah, that's it. And now we're in the 100 again. Now I think this area, or this sort of branch here that we've turned off, is the branch that takes us on to Stafford. If we'd kept on the main line there, it would have taken us back onto the West Coast main line and back onto, you know, towards sort of Cheshire, Lancashire way. So speed reduction back to 90 again in a mile and a half, and we are going to have to act on that. We are currently at 94. But even with the crappy brakes on this thing, we don't have to react quite so quickly. Must be, yeah, Stafford is less than 3 miles away, so we must be getting relatively close to Stafford, because yeah, we're now starting to get all of these sort of like speed reduction steps. So we are just coasting, and as a result we're already fine for the 85 mph section coming up, let alone the 90 that we've just entered. But then we've got some really hefty reductions coming up just as we reach Stafford station in a mile and a half. So this is a double yellow, which is fine. We'll still be able to enter Stafford station. Okay, the next one will be single yellow. So the red will only be the other end of the platform that we're stopping at, platform 3. So yeah, there's the single yellow there. Yeah, certainly going to need to 67% braking just to get the speed down to 25 from there. That's a bit ludicrous, I think, but so. So you must, be changing onto this lane. Red signal aspects up ahead, just as you would imagine. But there we are, Stafford station. So that was Rugby to Stafford on the West Coast Main Line Trent Valley in a Class 175. Right, let's see how we did. I'm trying. Did I get no speeding errors during that? Yeah, absolutely clean run. No speeding errors of any kind, let alone anything else. Yeah, well, even though I'm not a fan of the 175, I did all right in it. And I mean, to be fair, it's not a bad train to drive in this game, but in real life, it's an absolute fucking shit heap of a train. It really is. So there we go. That is this video done. If you want a request done, click on the link in the description. It will take you to the video which shows you all of the routes and the locos available to choose from. There's also a list with updates that contain routes and locos that I did not have at the time of recording that video. You'll find everything there. Bung your request in the comments and we'll get it done, even if it means driving on 175. Okay, anyway, this one is done, so we will see you at the next one.